just chat a little while. Get this recording, but this is for fun, so we can include this in with the show.
Hello, Scott.
Hi. Yeah, I just started recording and surprised Perry because we wanted to have a little friendly chit chat, so all of you can enjoy it too. How we talk when we don't get on the the show itself officially. So this is going to be the unofficial official side of the show, which is always good. I just talked with Michelle Bobody's great artist who does book covers for many top sci-fi and other books, and he and I have just designed the basic layout for the front and back cover for the Emerald Doorway, which is going to be different than what it has now as well. I like the spaceship hovering there because it's above the earth and it's a light ship, so it's very, spiritual or kind and all that. And it was great, but we want to create an original cover like the Say Ray's Agenda has, which should be out this month in a bigger format, with the hyperlinks and all that for the ebook. And it's getting near finished, so we should have it out. The cover's done. I just have to publish it in my own company's name then. So next month, we're probably going to publish the Emerald Doorway with a new cover. Same size and everything, same content, but with a new cover front and back. Oh,
I'm waiting for the new version.
Yeah, it's going to be bigger than that.
Yep.
It's going to be bigger than that. The other book, have you got it there, the Emerald Doorway?
I haven't got it.
Okay. Anyway, it's going to have, you've read the Emerald Doorway or no?
Yes, I read.
Okay.
Very good book too. I love it.
It's going to have on the front cover. Do you remember the scene with the ancient one that comes down through the vortex? And they're hovering on anti-gravity discs outside Kalim's ship with Etta. Ramu's introducing him. That's going to be on the front cover.
Very nice. Because when people can see picture, can have a good imagination,
It's not going to be like any book they've ever seen, because they're going to be wanting to know who those characters are, what that ship is, what are they floating on, and who is that thing coming through that crystal city from another dimension. That's going to be fun. At the back of it will be a picture of Sendar with holding this green crystal, right, out in space with the world. He's got held above the earth world above his hands, so it's like a sinister thing, right? He wants to get the earth. That's what we're going to have on the back cover. So it should be pretty good. Those are really, the back cover is more of a metaphor. The front cover is actually a scene from the book. So I think that'll work.
Scott, like our characters, because sometimes I want to see how they look like. So I go to your website, to recheck, so I understand more the story and can imagine the pictures too.
And you can change the website at the top of the paralleltime.com website. It has that language translator. It's not perfect, but it helps people be able to read it in Thai and get the idea. We have to put that same translator on the other 3 new websites that are live online so people can go there and explore them too. They're fantastic. The images, the huge panoramic images on all 3 new websites are quite spectacular. Parallel Time has a new big image on the top of the website now. It's really quite, it's by an artist named Arthur Rosa. He's fantastic. And I wrote to him and got permission to use those images with his art there. He's a guy that has one of the most fantastic artists I've ever seen, and he doesn't charge for his art. He just requires that people ask permission if they use it. He does it for fun, and the images of all his art are just out of this world, just fantastic. So we have that there, and then we have the big video player with me on just below that. So there's a huge, big panoramic image with no distractions, the artist's name, and the menu at the top and everything. It's really nice.
All the images are very nice, Scott. I love those.
Oh, I have paralleltime.com now, totalspectrumproductions.com, totalspectrumpublishing.com, and totalspectrummedia.com. They all have these big panoramics, very inviting images on the top. So, and then videos, right, the short videos right below them, so people can get inspired and have some fun with that. And there's no charge for any of that, of course.
Scott, you know what? Besides people reading the Emerald Doorway, the series agenda, and then people watch the show, and practicing the journey that you lead us, like maybe at least once a week. From my experience, it works well, Scott. It really works well.
Do you review the journeys we go on? Do you replay?
Yes.
That's
Yeah.
helpful because you pick up on a lot more that way.
Mm-hmm.
Second, third time around, you start seeing things and knowing things that you might have missed the first time around when you've got to be aware of your body and do this at the same time. Stretches your ability. But, as some people will go on these journeys, they'll just fall asleep because we're putting the body in a trance state, the same as you do when you put it to bed at night, except in those journeys, we are putting it in the trance state consciously and leaving the body and experiencing where these guided journeys go. So you can bring back the memory of it. And then if some people fall asleep because it's so soothing, and
even me,
they can play the whole recording back and go on it again. So it's really helps. Okay.
I insist if people can, should listen like once a week or twice a week, and then you will see the changes.
Yeah, I think that's very good. And since they're free, why not?
Mm-hmm. So
Yeah,
you can have
there's no monetary no money or monetary system involved in these journeys we do, or these radio shows. I do sell the books through online retailers, print on demand people like Amazon around the world stuff, because people have to get a book somehow. And the only people I know of that can print on demand and ship them are Amazon and Barnes and Noble in the United States, big bookstore, and iTunes for ebooks, and Barnes and Noble and Amazon both have a form of ebook, and it's available in all of that. So makes it easy for people to get the book. And of course, in the Emerald Doorway, the illustrations are in the ebook that's in the print book. And the techniques are both in the print book for the Sayers Agenda, and in the new book will be in hyperlinks in the back section. So that when I say, go read this paragraph from here to here in this chapter, they click on the link, goes right there. Doesn't matter what size ebook reader they have, they'll go right to what they need to go to. So that will be a big help.
Mm-hmm. Scott, before you start recording, we were talking about the energy in this month. I feel like clearing energy. Can you continue talking about this?
Yeah, we will. And we've been recording all along.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, so we've been having fun. You didn't know we're recording. I wanted people to hear all this, so it's all been recorded.
Mm-hmm.
It's part of the front side of our radio show. And of course, when we get done with it, then it will be recorded. I'll send it up to Google Drive, and you can download it and upload it to your YouTube account and get it out to your people, and it's all good. It's good.
Scott, I'd like to say this for the audience to understand too. Once I have this kind of experience that you're giving, showing me, I am happier in life, really, Scott.
It took a while.
You understand, and people will understand.
I'm glad you're saying it, because as you know, it took a while when you first started with the hue. People will have strange manifestations physically and all that. It's not from the hue. The hue has nothing negative in it. It won't ever affect anybody in a negative way. But the primary implant, the stuff that's been misdirecting them their whole life, they don't even know is there, turns on when you start to get rid of it. And the hue, if it's used without fear or negative emotions, if you go into it putting those aside first, then it'll shut down those things so you can make progress. It'll shut them off. And as you know, I wish I could do secondary implant removal sessions with everybody on Earth, but I'm only one person. It'd be quite impossible. So I rely on vast host of galactic citizens, well-trained, and their spiritual teachers and all that to deal with the rest of humanity here at some point, because they're going to have to. I couldn't do it. I can deal with 7 or 8 or 10 people around the world, as you know, but that's about it. Mm-hmm. Because there's just only so many time in a day. And so we try to do something of benefit really, on these radio shows. And we will do guided things whenever we go on these shows so that people have some way of understanding. There's Starlight, who's tuned into the show. Come here. Let's come up and say hi to there's Perry. Okay.
Hello.
He wants
Yeah,
to be part of it.
when I re-listen to your journey, you know, starlight pop up again, you know, it's like, wow.
He goes, whenever we get on Zoom or on the phone call anywhere, he tunes into it. Him and Torellian, this wonderful, tall human being, not from Earth, the Sayres ambassador, him and Starlight are telepathically very close. He really likes Starlight. So Starlight will come up and make his little announcement. He'll make a little sound, then he kind of tunes in. And then he goes over and he stays tuned in for the whole show. Just pushed the door open and came into the room. That's just the way he is. And he surprises me all the time because I'll be in like the causal plane or 2 dimensions up from here at night, you know, out of the body doing something. And he'll suddenly show up on my shoulder and say, "Hi, you think you're the only one can get around the universe? I'm a cat and I can do it." It's really quite something.
Yeah, he's smart.
He's very, very advanced, yeah. Very good buddy. Good buddy. Okay.
And Scott, people here in Thailand, okay, like when I have a meeting with Thai people, they start asking me questions like, do they have to remove secondary implants first so they can have like the experience that I have?
It would be very helpful, but since I can't do it with all of them, they will get the experience with people I introduce them to on these journeys. If they ask, they can have these experiences. When they're out of their body at night, when they set it up right and don't bring any negativity into the experience before they go to sleep, put it aside and all the fears and worries about money and people and relationships and planet Earth and nuclear war and all that junk, which I'm not worried about at all, by the way. Put it aside and then go into the Hue experience and ask to be shown deliberately hidden truth. In the grand multidimensional creation and the much greater knowing of the expansive love within it. And then you can ask for help from some of the Galactic Alliance people that I introduce on the show that go with us on these journeys. And people can call upon them and ask of permission of true free will to get some help with having secondary implants and other blocks removed. And they'll get them done when they're out of their body. When you're out of your body at night and away from the physical human body on Earth, a being has a lot more understanding and greater awareness, and they can make better progress that way. So when they come back in the morning and wake their body up, they'll begin to have greater recall of their dreams, and their consciousness will just start changing better. Some of the old terrors and fears that so haunted them will just not cease to bother them. And then their higher faculties start turning on. The Hue expansion ray in the omnipresent living energy behind all life does not work with any form of negativity or negative emotions. So people can't expect to take their fears into the out-of-body state at night or in a meditation during the day. They can do the same thing. But you don't want to take anything of a negative nature with you, because it will prevent the person from experiencing anything that can really alter their consciousness for the better. The Hue doesn't work with the lower energies, the negative and positive and good and bad and all that. It works with the real nature of the energy that makes up each soul, each Atma, each being, which has never been a part of negative emotional energy. People have been programmed and misused and suppressed and implanted in histories they don't even know about to convince them that they have negative emotions. But the Atma itself, what we really are that is not a physical body, is not natural for it to have any negative emotions at all. I suppose just saying this to people will be a real eye-opener for them. Because if it's true, and it is, it means that the true nature of their being has the ability to not only remember what it's been made to forget, but to have mastery over anything of a negative nature, negative technology, extraterrestrial bad guys, misuse of technology on Earth or from other worlds. And when you gain that kind of protection through the Hue, you can progress very, very quickly on Earth. You can make progress. You can really begin to recover. And that's important. That kind of the Hue and the new ray in the Hue and anything to do with the recovery of consciousness cannot and does not have anything to do with monetary systems on this planet. For me, for my part, it can't, because I work with Torellian and beings from other worlds who outlawed monetary systems or money a long time ago. So Earth, we have to deal with it. It's practical. We are all conditioned to have to use it here, but it is artificially created. There's no precious anything behind it anymore. It's just conditioning. People are taught to exchange it for whatever goods. It's just ink on paper made from the bark of trees and digits in computers. That's all it is. And some of us know that. And just the same, because 7.5 billion people mostly are conditioned to use it, we have to use it until everybody on this earth no longer wants it. And then it will be gone. This world will make great advances then, because we'll be allowed to join the Galactic Alliance and play among the stars with other races. It's just that simple. That's the future we're headed towards. That's a good thing. Do you have any questions for me today from your viewing fans and audience?
Not the questions, but more like they are very happy, delightful, when they're listening to our show.
Oh, I'm glad then. We'll do more of these hotel radio shows too. I know it's difficult because you have to stop the flow of something which is telepathic for their benefit with you interpreting. So I can only say a few sentences and you have to interpret it and so forth. But it's good because they can play the recording back and take as much time with it as they need to. So you're really providing a wonderful service for the benefit of all life here by doing what you're doing with your YouTube postings. And businesses on earth that run on money are all involved. So, I don't mind that there is an ad at the front of these videos that, a person can shut off after a few seconds. As long as the main whole journey of the video is not interrupted, it's very, very good for people so they can gain something from it. So that's all good. And a lot of the shows that we've done together are, when I search my YouTube channel or I go R. Scott Lemriel, a lot of our videos mixed with mine show up.
Great.
So it's getting around, That's all good. That's all good. So, well, I would ask everybody that's listening to get relaxed in a chair, on a bed, on a couch, somewhere where they're comfortable and they can keep their body still. Same way you would do when you put it to sleep at night and you're going to put it to sleep and rest it, you cuddle up on a pillow, And the conditioning for people on earth is to just go unconscious when their body goes to the trance state we call sleep. Because the body isn't really something that can sleep or wake up. The being can sleep or wake up or stay alert all the time. The body needs to go into the trance state called sleep to be recharged from the being, not the body. When the being's out of the body, it brings back energy to the body to keep it running and, keep life as long as it can be on this planet. So we want to have people get relaxed, put all their concerns for money and health and age, anything they think they are as a body, which they are not. Most beings on this planet are ageless, billions of years old. They have no idea that what they really are is not something that can perish when a body ceases to function. And they've been made to forget all the lives they've ever lived, so now they come to Earth and all they think of is this is all there is. I die here and go to some heaven. Maybe I get to live in paradise or something. But this isn't the practical nature of the multidimensional creation by the source or the supreme being or prime creator, as the most benevolent kind extraterrestrials call this source. The source is in a much higher dimension than the four lower dimensions: physical, astral, causal, mental, and etheric. It's beyond the void known to most Buddhists, not all, but to most. It's way up in the upper dimensions, way up above that, which is where every one of us as living beings came from originally. And we're destined to return to that source with new ways of doing things to help change the way things are run. That's really the destiny and purpose of a human being. I realize that most people on Earth do not have a clue about this yet, but they did once, and it can be recalled or remembered. So get comfortable, take several deep breaths, and when you let it out, you're letting out and letting go of all the fears you've ever had about everything, even the future of yourself or the earth or your family or anyone else. And you're putting it in your imagination, which is not fantasy made up in the brain. You actually see it on a shelf, on the floor, on the carpet, somewhere in the background. And you'll pick it up when we come back anyway, so that you can learn how and discover how to master any form of negativity. So that people, when through this process, are no longer affected by negative things. They outflow energy in this process to all negative things, and it changes those negative things. And that's what the new ray does in the hue. When you feel comfortable that you have that set aside, so you're taking into this experience just you, the real being, not all the junk you've ever been experienced that's negative on this planet, or anything negative that ever happened on this planet. You're moving yourself beyond that and away from that for this time. Imagine someone you love and have respect for, that you are grateful for whatever that is being in your life, whether it's a person, some spiritual master, a place or a thing, whatever opens your heart to truth. This work is about helping people uncover, recover, discover, recall deliberately hidden truth on a grand multidimensional scale. What I mean by that is beings are capable of exploring the multidimensional creation while they have a body on Earth. They just don't know it. Once they do become aware of it, they can begin to do it. And they can do this safely. One of the greatest fears many people have because of tyrant brainwashing on Earth is that when they leave the body, some negative thing or evil will catch them. This is not true. They're more caught being on Earth, afraid to leave the body than they realize. When you get out in the Atma form, it's not something that can be destroyed, harmed by negative things, even blown up in a hydrogen bomb. The Atma cannot be destroyed. It's not made of atoms and protons and neutrons and electrons. It's not made of atoms. It is an energy that exists before those things were brought into creation. And it always has been. We are like a drop of a pure energy, individual, from a great ocean of that same energy, which you would call the supreme being or prime creator or the source of all life. That source of all life never required, nor ever requested, nor ever asked that we worship it. There's no point. It'd be like worshiping yourself, because we are comprised as souls, as Atmas of the very same energy on a smaller scale. And the whole purpose of living is to one day wake up enough to be a co-creator, a trustworthy co-creator with that source. And what I mean by that is being awake enough to be able to deliberately create and invent those things which will only be of uplifting benefit to all life. Not just all life on Earth, all life in the entire multidimensional creation, on every world and everywhere. That's our real nature. That's our true destiny. I suppose when people first discover that, it will begin to change them, because way down deep in the core of their being, no matter how suppressed they've been by tyrants from other worlds or on Earth, it is recoverable. It begins to surface. I begin these things by sending out the hue on a series of tones on a higher pitch each time, higher tone level, because this shuts down subconscious negative influences so people can go on this journey and not be so affected by things that would normally hold them back. This is telepathic. It is above or beyond psychic energies, which deal with the positive and negative streams of the four lower dimensions. We are working with energies before those two things were even created. So when we go into the hue, the core of our being that is not physical is being directly connected to that source with no intermediary, no one in between. And then we begin to unravel this knot called life and consciousness. why we exist, what our destiny and our purpose is, begins to be recovered. I'll begin to send these tones out now. Remember, you're taking wondrous, childlike curiosity into this experience. No negative belongs here. Leave it home on earth with your body. And as I send out the hue, the pineal gland in the center of your brain and the physical body will begin to secrete melatonin, to create serotonin, and this will put the body in the trance state we call sleep. The heart will work, the blood will pump, the lungs will breathe. It's fine, it's healthy, it's protected. And then we, the beings, can go explore. Be above your body. You imagine this. Same way as it's easy for you to imagine a waterfall or the ocean or a snow-capped mountain range or a hummingbird or flowers or a pathway through a beautiful tall grass field in the lower areas of mountains or under giant redwood trees. You smell the clean air. This is not something people make up in their brain. Of course, on Earth, most people are not aware of this. They think that when they imagine something, somehow the brain is doing this. This is not true. The human brain is not designed to see and project on a motion picture screen from a motion picture camera things that you imagine. This is you, the real being, which is a spherical shaped energy, soul or Atma, that sees things when you imagine something. However, when you're imagining something, you're actually seeing it somewhere in the vast multidimensional creation, either on this earth, in parallel dimensions to this planet, on other worlds, other galaxies, or higher dimensional realities. The purpose of this is to gain direct knowing experience. It goes beyond faith because any real faith should lead people to direct experience. Otherwise, they don't know for themselves what is really true and what isn't when they pass away from this life. When you're in this state, above your body, look down and see your body resting there. To the top of a car, the top of your home, condo, house, wherever you are, out in nature. And you see it there in the trance state called sleep. Same way it is when you go to bed at night. And forget most of what you're doing while you're gone from the body, exploring. The new ray, this new conscious living energy in the omnipresent first sound behind all creation, the hue, is designed to do one thing and one thing only. It moves through people who are conscious of it for the benefit of all life. It begins to, how do I put it, encourage and inspire people to provide their true free will with people who are well trained, who do not have subconscious minds, to help them recover all they once knew before they found themselves on Earth with little or no former memory intact. Be above the Earth a little bit, up in the upper atmosphere above your city. It could be night or day, it doesn't matter. And in this form, when you look around, you can see in any direction. And even at night, things seem lit up because you're seeing energy behind everything, via your Atma self, your true self, through one of the faculties of being. If you look out into the air around you, in this form, you can see a white light field of energy tinged with gold running through and connecting everything. If you look at where it comes from, it goes off out of the atmosphere through the void of space, lighting it up because it's really not a void at all. And then it goes up into the universe and out into other worlds and galaxies and up the other dimensions. It moves constantly. It supports and sustains all life. As Atmas, as beings, we have the capability to move on that energy quite beyond the speed of light or its limitations, quite beyond the effect of gravity and gravitational fields. The Atma, the real you, can do this. Be above the Earth in space, looking down on the world with its polar ice caps, oceans, continental land masses slightly tilted, the moon circling around it. You can see the sun way off in the distance. And when you look around in any direction, you see stars extending in fields of energy off in every direction as far as you can perceive. That's just the stars in our one galaxy, several billion of them. Hundreds of millions of worlds just in this parallel dimension of this physical universe. There's 144 parallel dimensions on higher frequency levels that comprise the physical universe. Not just the one you see from the Hubble Space Telescope of all those millions of galaxies. There are many levels of it. More advanced races can circumnavigate their technology between these levels and have contact with beings and worlds in a number of different frequencies, different levels of matter, let's put it that way. When you're floating out here in space and you look around, you'll see other beings like myself and Perry, others that have joined us, The Sayre's ambassador Turelian, who is revealed for the first time for Earth people in the Sayre's agenda book. He is in his former existence as a physical being, 18 to 25 feet tall, in his case about 19 feet, 18 to 19 feet. They immortalized their physical bodies over 1 billion years ago. They are not originally from Milky Way or Andromeda or numbers of their galaxies. And they were responsible long ago in galactic history for bringing or evolving higher body forms like human and other extraterrestrial races in our galaxy and many others. They were responsible for raising them up to the level where an Atma that runs bodies, you and I, could begin to explore space. And then the Sayres retired into the background for a very long time. And only recently they have returned to announce their presence. And that is because of a consciousness change they went through that's motivated them for the first time to actually care about the younger races. I should say the Atmas that run more evolved body forms that play among the stars, to be responsible for each other. They're here to begin to end this whole thing of good and bad, evil and good, and fights amongst beings and all that kind of stuff. It's been going on for 1 billion years and it hasn't allowed the universe to evolve further. So when we're up above the planet in space, and you see this white field of energy sparkling and moving through what is normally referred to as the black void of space, it isn't void at all. There's no oxygen. And you don't need to breathe it in this form anyway, your energy. That energy that you see running through everything in the void of space is what we move on and live in and have our being. You'll see Turelian floating there as a sphere of light, myself, Perry, two beings that are husband and wife named Shantial and Tonaltial, which are members of the Galactic Interdimensional Alliance of Free Worlds, who are stationed right now around Earth. They operate in craft that cannot be detected by radar, cannot be misused by any government. They're not here really to interfere. They're here to help free people from subconscious negative things that have kept this planet from evolving. And that's being done for the benefit of all life on Earth, without exception. Also, there is a couple from the Galactic Alliance named Dantiam and Lamtiam. In their physical form, which they have aboard a 30-foot in diameter Scout class anti-gravity ship. They're each on 2 different ships, and there are 4 couples in each one, down on Earth, in the atmosphere. These 2 couples, are sitting in a contemplative state with their eyes closed and have left their bodies to join us. The other couples on the ships are remaining behind to monitor things, and as Turelian does, to protect our journey and so that people can make progress. You're going to see that whatever you experience yourself as here, you are spherical in nature. If you looked at Perry or me, you could see a physical form standing in space with a spherical energy kind of in the center of it. And it would look like us, young and vital and healthy, but this is not a physical body. It's an energy projection of what we look like on Earth. So we have something to relate to. You can see each other. You can see Turelian, and we're kind of moving in a circle around him, not because he's superior, not because he thinks he's better than us. This is not true. But because it allows us to focus on a central point so that we can all make this journey together and stay focused and not get scattered. When I hew here, you'll hear it telepathically, but I'm not using vocal cords. On Earth, I'll do it so you can hear it. There, I'm doing it being to being, as a sound I'm sending out. And it sounds like that white field of energy that's running through the void of space. In this form, you could actually hear that this one whole tone is made up of feminine and masculine voices with perfect vocal cords, singing the hue on multiple levels until it blends as one tone. What you need to know is that this sound, this original first word of creation, is comprised of and emanated by beings. Beings collectively working together in and of the source of all life in a very high dimension, emanate this to sustain and support life everywhere. There's no negative nature in this energy. That was created in the 4 lower dimensions, which were created through a dual current of positive and negative energy that split off from this one current, starting with the etheric plane, going through the mental, causal, astral, and physical. It was meant to be used as one whole harmonious energy to create form. Instead, it got put through beings and split into 2 opposites, that beings misuse their imagination to create good things for themselves and bad things for themselves and others at the same time without realizing it. The hue begins to get people to focus their imagination in one whole way again. That is, to deliberately and intentionally create that which will only be of an uplifting benefit to all life. There's an old saying, out among the stars, if they speak of God, they don't call that term. They don't use the word God. They call it Prime Creator. But you can only have as much of Prime Creator as you can imagine. No more, no less. It's reciprocal, and it respects and responds to our imagination, good or bad. So you see, our part is to get to using the imagination in a way that's productive and for the benefit of all life, like so many beings do on so many worlds that people on Earth don't even know or remember exist yet. What is underway now cannot be reversed. It is for the benefit of all life. And it's beginning to change things in a way that's never happened before in the entire multidimensional creation or its history. When you're in this state, floating above the atmosphere of Earth, you begin to remember that you never were a physical body, that you've run many bodies in many lifetimes on many levels, and that you somehow were made to forget about it. Knowing this from this more expanded state begins to unravel this tight knot of unconsciousness in people. That's what it does. Terrellian and I and some other beings that have joined us want to go on a little excursion. And the place we're going to tonight is the first higher dimensional realm above the void known to most Buddhist monks. Not all, some of them know more. Others just don't know about it, not because they're not capable, because they've never been told such things exist beyond the void. They do. We're going to go to this realm of someone named Satnam, who happens to be the governor, or I don't want to say ruler, because he's not a tyrant, of this plane that exists above, beyond positive and negative things. When a being begins to remember how to get here through what it looks like, which I'm going to describe for you visually, you'll begin to see it in your own imagination. Once you can cross that void and step into this higher world, that journey becomes irreversible. In other words, you begin to unfold and awaken to all of who you are and all what you once knew that is not a physical body. And it's done in a practical way so that as you progress, your earth world life becomes more practical and more balanced too. When we're floating as beings, hovering here in the void of space above the planet Earth, you'll see a flash of light come from Terrellian, and I'm kind of floating next to him. and you'll see a golden vortex whirling around this entire circle of us. Tourmalline's in the center, just as a focal point. And it whirls around the outer edge of our circle. And it opens up. And way up high down this tunnel of energy, this is white light with a gold tinge, slight violet tinge to it on the edge. You'll see a white sand, long white sand beach. You'll see a black, almost, it looks black, but it's not, but a big void with nothing in it. And then way past that, you begin to see a long white sandy beach. And we're going to dart up that tunnel quite beyond the speed of physical light as it's known on Earth. And you'll hear the hum of the hue whirling around you. Beautiful. Inspiring. This energy will come down through you as a being, back into your bodies wherever they are on Earth. Let it flow through you out to the Earth for the benefit of all life. And then let it see it continue to go out into the universe, out into the solar system, out into the galaxy, uninterrupted. This provides protection for people because it outflows something constructive. It's a type of energy that no negative thing can approach at all. No negative being in or out of bodies on any plane nor any technology can approach this. This is something each being needs to discover for themselves so they know it with certainty, without doubt. Flowing up this whirling energy, we're going to come out the other side and we're going to be sailing across a huge, immense void. It's not light, it's not dark, it's just void. It's nothing there. It appears like there is. There are actually beings here, but you can't see them. You look behind you, down below, you'll see this vortex dwindle and fade away, so that we are floating, a whole bunch of us as light beings, spheres of light, in this black void. And then you're going to feel yourself moving at tremendous speed, further into the distance. And as you approach something, you begin to see a white sandy beach appear way on the horizon. And then it grows quickly until we're approaching this white sand beach that goes in each direction as far as you can see. And we're going to fly over the top of this beach, over beautiful tropical plants, well cultivated. And you're going to be passing through thousands of different kinds of birds, beautiful colors that sing in beautiful singing voices in harmony. And you're going to come over this garden area. You're going to see a kind of a palace-like thing off in the distance, near the base of a long range of snow-capped mountains. And we're going to come down into a botanical garden that is kind of semicircles all around a central fountain. It's made of white alabaster type stone. And it's got scalloped edges sitting on a cylinder with a block platform below. And in it is the statue of a being who looks to be about 36 or so, ageless, bronzed of skin, bald head, gold bands too in each of his upper arms, and his hands down at his side with the palms facing outward open, with this white light with a gold tinge pouring from his palms. It's a statue into this bowl. The light itself is like liquid, but it's luminous and glowing, flows down over the edges of this white alabaster fountain, down into the ground where it vanishes. And all of us are going to come to float above and around this fountain. And then you're going to experience yourself as if you have a physical body here, like the one you have. But every one of us is all about 36 or so, mature, young, healthy adult. This is an energy projection of the body form you have on Earth. But you're really a sphere here. So you get to experience both. Off to the right, you'll see someone approaching down a pathway. This is a being wearing a white short tunic dress down to his bare feet above his ankles, strongly built, and he just approaches and smiles. Puts out his right hand towards the fountain and gives us permission to drink from it or to merge into it. What is the purpose of this? This energy field we're going to enter is made up of the new ray in the hue. And it begins to transfer down through you to your physical body on earth for your benefit. There is nothing of any negative nature up here. You have to go below the void to the lower dimensions to find that. You're going to see a set of marble steps appear leading up to this mountain. And we're all going to walk up to it. I will take the lead. Torellian's already inside this energy. It's like if you look past the statue of this being, you'll see that the statue is a bit of an illusion. It's really a big shaft of this white gold light running up and down this mountain. And we're going to move into it, right inside it, safely. You're going to hear the hue. You're going to feel this uplifting energy racing up and down through you. Doesn't hurt you at all. And you're going to experience your true form here. The true way that a soul or Atma looks, what beings from other worlds call soul, they call Atma, is like it has a white central core, so spherical, and then layers of teardrop-shaped lights glowing in layers. Each layer is a different color of the spectrum till it gets out to a sphere with a violet exterior and a golden glow around it. Each of us looks like that. As energy passes through us, it kind of lights up these teardrop shapes with a new kind of luminosity, a new radiance. And we're just going to sit in it for a little bit. Make sure you send the awareness of this experience while you're here, down through the top of your head, through the body that's in the trance state called sleep back on earth. But it's not just for your benefit, selfishly. It's to pass through your physical body for your benefit and out to the rest of the world, so that you start to become co-creators to help transform it with the billions of beings from other worlds that are involved in this now. Being aware of this, being conscious of it, makes all the difference. When you listen to the sound of the hue roaring through this shaft of light we are floating inside of, you'll hear it sounds like millions of men and women's voices with perfect vocal cords singing on multiple levels this sound, hue. And then when you hear it collectively, it sounds like one deep, roaring, lovely, uplifting, peaceful energy sound. You'll hear it on different levels, and you'll feel it on different levels. Now, we will exit this fountain and come and stand around the fountain itself, near Satnam. He will tell you telepathically, which means his vocal cords aren't moving, that you are welcome to come back here. And now that you have visited and have permission to come here, and you know kind of what it looks like and how to get here, you can return through the hue. What I recommend for people while they're up here is to tell their body back on earth that it will find a time where it's safe, not interrupted, and then play the recording of this back. If you have to, get someone to interpret it for you in English, or you can listen to the playback of this recording, knowing that when you go to bed at night, you will leave your body and meet with guides and wondrously evolved beings who know how to speak every language, and they'll speak to you clearly in Thai. For people who have the Savior's Agenda as a book, it's in English. But if you put it under your pillow or next to your bed at night and ask for this, then you'll receive guidance from beings and help that speak Thai. You won't have any problem understanding any of it. Now, if you all would just simply thank Satnam for giving us permission to be here, he would not have denied any of us if we can make it this far. But it's always respectful of other life to ask permission when you step into someone's territory. Remember this, the Atma plane or the soul plane is also your territory. You originate from a plane far above here. So we will rejoin Turelian circling around him as spherical beings. You'll see this vortex appear again. We're going to sail across the coastline of this beginning realm, past the void, go through the void, and down a shaft of white light until you find yourselves hovering around Turelian and myself, up above the atmosphere of Earth, in the void of space, full of this light. Send this experience down through the top of your head on Earth, out into the world, and see it go past the world, out into the solar system, out into the galaxy, out into other galaxies, and let it keep running forward. As it passes through you, it benefits you on its way to benefit others. This is how this works. This is the correct use, the highest use of the creative imagination, doing things like this. Whether everybody realizes or not, anybody listening to and exploring this radio show is capable of knowing and understanding the grand multidimensional creation. Because remember, you're understanding this as an eternal energy being, not as a brain, not as one body on Earth. And your faculties are infinitely more expansive when you're out of the body in this form. In the next moment, you'll find yourself thanking Turelian, respectfully giving gratitude to everyone that's joined us, wishing them the best, and then you'll find yourself hovering above your physical body and your ceiling above your body on Earth, wherever you are. Find yourself looking down at that body in your imagination. Then when you're ready, open your eyes.
The tears keep running, but the tears of joy.
Yeah, you know, I might as well. I was getting this encouragement to just escort people right above the void, right into the first plane. Because when a person starts plugging in there, their freedom is on their way. I mean, their whole change in consciousness. It's pretty much, I don't want to say guaranteed, because they need to cooperate by using their creative imagination and putting their effort into using it correctly, which they can get from this, playing back this entire journey. So that's all good. I realize the problem people will have in that they don't speak Thai in your part of the world. They're Japanese, only speak Japanese, most of them, you know, Chinese, Mandarin, or whatever. But if someone can interpret for them the way to use the book or the way to use this recording, if you could even interpret this recording for people in Thai from beginning to end, it would be greatly beneficial to them. That's a challenge you might want to try taking on some point when you're comfortable doing it. But you could just take this recording as an example because it goes into that first higher plane and brings that energy right back here. This begins to put dominance over any form of negativity that's ever been in a person's life, and not just from this lifetime. So I guess for people who only speak Thai, they can understand this experience in the dream state, but they still at least need to have some grounding of what this recording's about. And perhaps you could interpret, you know, maybe just interpret the English into Thai for this one journey, just this one journey. You don't need to do them all, just this one. And let people hear that. Everybody would trust you with it. Turelian would, I will. It might be something to do. It might take a while, a little every day, but eventually you could get it done. And then you could have an interpreted in Thai conversion from our experience together during this journey on this date. And you could say it's based on this journey. And then put that up on YouTube for Thai speaking people. That'd be cool.
I will do that. I have no words to say, Scott. I am so delightful, and I wish everybody could have this feeling like me, you know.
Well, you know, you didn't have it when we first met, and you're a human being just like me or anyone else, or beings from other planets, or beings from higher dimensions. And if you can do it and go through a change that's good, anybody on Earth can. You serve as a conscious, co-creative example of a channel of energy to help them. That's a good thing. That can be nothing but a good thing. So I want to wish everybody the best, and you, of course, Perry. You're a real doll for having the courage to do this with me and to go on with it. There's nothing of a negative nature in anything I do, or the people that I work with who aren't from this earth. I want to get across to your audience, you can tell them in Thai, that they did not originate on this earth as a human being. That's important for them to know that.
I wish everyone could recall who they are, and I wish everyone to be very happy in their life, you know.
This is something they have to awaken enough to co-create, and they have the ability to do it. We're living examples of it. They don't have to take what we do at face value or on faith. If they work with the techniques that we share during these excursions, they will be greatly benefited. I will stop this recording now and call this is the end of this session.